Episode 115, sponsored by Maritime Madness. Today we have Patenaude MMA Pro, Zackery Powell, and TriStar and Henzo Gracie grappler, Oliver Tazler. Let's do it. How are you, folks? Welcome to episode 115. Here we are on location, at our secret location of our upcoming event. Pardon, we're having some audio issues here, so my apologies on that. I think, John, we're just having a little bit of issues. Anyway, we got a fantastic episode here sponsored by our friends at Maritime Madness. I still have not got a haircut, so I shaved my head twice during COVID, and this is what I ended up with. So I'm going to get a haircut the next couple of days, so my apologies. Anyway, folks, again, we have a fantastic episode lined up here today. First of all, let's get right into it. The guy who's 3-0 as a pro here in Canada. He's been on the show before. He's coming up as the main event here in the next couple of weeks, fighting for Strike Hard Promotions down in Florida, is the main event. This guy is on a tear. He's on his way to the big show. He represented, of course, with Dodge Sports and training now out of Niagara Top Team. With the great crew there, Chris Prickett and Jasmine and AJ and the rest of the crew. So really happy to have him on. Let's bring him on without further ado, Mr. Zackery Powell. How are you, sir?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. We'll try to bring you back in, John. There might be a little echo, but we'll see how it goes. Zach, how's training going, man? I saw you're on the road. You're doing a little traveling back and forth. How's things going?
Yeah, so I'm just back home today and tomorrow, back home in Gatineau for just to see family and my girlfriend and just spend time with the people I love. And then I'm back on the road Monday morning, back to Niagara. A little bit of sparring today. My training partner, Jared Dumont, who's an amateur at NTT, who's very much ready to be a pro, came down with me, and it's going to be helping me out with some rounds today. And so training camp isn't done. I'm just taking some time to see some family.
Nice. Yeah, that's important. At the end of the day, this sport, it's a sport. You're training hard, but you have to be around those people. You have to take that time to kind of get that mental break, I guess, eh?
Yeah, 100%. I spent a month there helping Romero get ready for his fight. Then I came back for 2 weeks. I was healing a cut I had on my eye. I opened my eye up while training, and then 2 weeks back over there, 100% getting ready for my own fight. So a little 2 days back home won't do any harm. It's gonna feel good.
It'll help more than anything, especially like you say, when you're around those people that you love. It's just gonna motivate you more, to do what you're doing, and you're obviously doing the right thing. It sucks being away from home, but man, you guys are surrounded by the right people. It's like John and I, it's with this business, you have to surround yourself with the right people. And I'm always amazed. We have nothing but love for Dodge Sports, and all of you guys and girls who are represented. You all hold yourselves accountable, but you hold yourselves to the highest standard, which is how you get to the next level, man. You're all battle tested, but also really classy people. And I think that's cool. That's the full circle of sport. You're not just all guys and girls who you're talented but have no personality. It's kind of all, it's a full package.
Where you got to have everything. If you don't have everything, someone else will have it, and they'll just take them instead of you. So
yeah.
Chief Zach, sort of jump in there, but with that level of management, you must have found, that had to have done things for your career that wouldn't happen otherwise. I come from, aren't managed until maybe they're in the UFC or just about in the UFC at all. Working with Dodge, I'm not trying to give him a plug here or anything. Great guy. Talk about it, man. Like that must have taken you to the next level. And do you feel like you'd be where you're sitting right now if it wasn't for working with this high level management?
Yeah, 100%. It gave me so much better opportunities. The fact that I have an awesome manager like Dodge right now, I can fight during a pandemic where a lot of people are struggling to find fights. I think they pulled a stat where only 2% of fighters in North America right now are able to fight. Actually going out to fight, because it's so hard to get a fight right now. Many states, and all of Canada are not letting shows happen. So I'm very grateful to have such a great manager. Also opens doors for sponsorship opportunities. And if I wouldn't have Dodge, I wouldn't have the plug with Prickett over down at Niagara Top Team, and that made things so much easier to go train out there. Just having Romero over there, AJ and Jazz, it helps so much, and like they welcome me like one of their own simply because I also am one of Dodge Sports athletes. It's like a one big family, and it's amazing.
That is amazing that even though you're at different gyms and different weight classes and different parts of your career, as a cohesive group under management, you're working together to move the whole team forward in that sense. That's pretty cool too. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of a team sense just by being managed by the same company. So, I mean, it's obviously a working formula, and we see. I mean, we've seen a lot with the Dodge Sports team during COVID. Like, you guys are moving. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, like everyone's fighting. Everyone's getting fights. If you're not injured and you're with Dodge Sports, you're gonna get a fight. Like he's working so hard to find us opportunities. He's pulling calls left and right, and he's finding us very good fights, very good opportunities, very good shows to fight on. Like we all fought on different shows. Like AJ was at SFT, Joshua was at CFFC, Maximov got on at LFA. I'm on Strike Hard, and there was Romero at Contender Series. So like he's calling everyone, and he's going out there for us and going to bat for us and finding us spots that ourselves we couldn't get. Like we wouldn't be getting those spots.
Yeah, there's no way, right? It's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's cool. I like seeing that, you know. It's because John and I, we take a lot of pride in that, service, exceed the expectation of, like just exceed the expectation. Just because the fight business doesn't mean there can't be really good service and communication, and I think that's where Dodge, really has brought, like, other agents should really kind of be following that model. I really believe, because it makes you like John and I see the post. Lots of people see the post, like those care packages you get or whatever. I'm like, wow, look at that. Like that gives you motivation. You're like, this guy actually cares. These people care about me, right? But you have to do the hard work, like, to get to that point. Let's not kid ourselves. Dodge they're after people who they realize are going to be stars and are also people who are going to work together to get to the highest level. So kudos to you, man, for working hard and getting yourself out there and, starting off with 3-0. Let's talk a little bit about that fight coming up here, your main event, first main event status, pretty exciting. Obviously in another country at that. What's the feeling going into this?
I'm feeling very good. It's just like, it's another fight. Like it's main event, first fight on the card, doesn't matter. It's cool in the sense where like they'll have more eyes on me. We were in a call this week, like a Zoom meeting, like basically they were going over what to expect, like what to do for COVID testing, and basically give us a little bit of information. They said that Sean Shelby will be in attendance because they're allowed fans. They're allowed 200 fans in attendance. So Sean Shelby has a ticket booked there, and he's going to be there. So that's great news. Like I'm the main event, so like definitely he's going to be there until the end, and like maybe a fight he's looking forward to see. So like if I have a good display for skill, like Contender Series in November is very very attainable. Like I've been calling out Sherrard Blackledge, who just fought, and I'd love to fight him. Like I'm pretty sure I do quick work with that guy, and no disrespect to him as a person. I just believe that I'm on a different level than he is, and he had that spot, and I want to take that spot. I want to win, and I want to get that contract in the UFC.
Fantastic. That's the attitude you got to have, John?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really the only way it's ever going to work, man. You got to be in 100% and take those opportunities and being able to pinpoint, like you said, like there's a guy with a spot that you want, so I'm going after that guy. Like that's precise, man. You're not just floating through your career. You're not just fighting whoever. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I mean, fight game, man. The risk is so high. Everything about it is just on another level, right? So you can't be an idiot. The longevity that you're hoping to attain, I mean, that could end immediately, right? With the wrong fight. So, yeah, awesome. I love it.
What? Our apologies for the audio issues there, Zach. Is it bothering you on your end at all? No,
that's cool.
How's Romero doing? Obviously he's a teammate, a very close friend of yours. Everybody knows what happened. He had a phenomenal performance in the Contender Series. Did not get the contract. We can talk about that all day long, but how's he doing mentally through that whole situation? Is he just like, what, on to the next?
He's doing great. He's looks amazing. He's a killer in the gym still. He's back in the sparring to help me get ready for my fight. Like he's still hurting a little bit from the leg kicks. Like his feet still hurt and his hands still hurt from beating up my breathing. But he's back in the gym helping me. He's a great training partner. And I can feel like he's going like a little like harder to get the finishes. And like I think that was like he took it like as a, I don't want to say a wake up call because like he's an amazing fighter, but he took it as a point where like, okay, like I'm just gonna finish fights now. Like he's looking at this in a positive way, and I believe he will be in the UFC very soon. I believe his next fight will be in the UFC. I don't think they're gonna make him wait too long. Like everyone is so disappointed they didn't get signed. Like it's not just like his close team. Like you go on Twitter and you go on like social media and like everyone's disappointed that Romero didn't get a contract, and like then you got people like Daniel Wolf that got one like last Tuesday. You know, it's like it was one of the best performances I've seen on Contender Series, like in all the years. Like it was 15 minutes of just pure dominance. You saw him deal with pressure where he got rocked at the end of the second round. You saw him have an amazing game plan, adapting to when like Breeden was switching up the striking. Yeah. So like he's UFC ready. That's not an issue. It's like I think he will be there very, very soon.
Yeah, I agree, man. I thought it was. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that fight or not, John, but phenomenal performance. Like literally, like 3-10-8 rounds almost. Really beautiful, all around performance too. And it's funny that they kept mentioning GSP during the fight too. It was like how he was very similar to GSP, and it was interesting his body too. Everything about it, like he looks like there's not a goddamn muscle on the kid's body that you can't see. It's funny, man. But all of you guys are all around athletes. Like there's not really a weakness, you know. Like that's what I love about all of you. Like there's not a weakness. There's not like, you know, the ground game's weak or the striking's weak. Like all of you are kind of that all around GSP looking fighters. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think we're all very well rounded, and like what Prickett brings to the table with the wrestling, I think we're on a totally different level than many guys in Canada when it comes to the wrestling aspect. And like that, I think that's the big difference of someone making it out of Canada or not, like having the chance to wrestle like at a high level, because you'll see a lot of like Canadian like good strikers, like off the top of my head, like I'll say Jourdain. Like Jourdain made it, but his kryptonite is getting wrestled right now. So like you need to go out there and find the best wrestling possible. So if you're not out in Montreal going to TriStar, it's very hard to find it in Canada. Like there's some spots that have amazing wrestling, but it's like these unknown spots that like you really have to look for, you know. Or like Cricket, it's like we're a lot of good wrestlers in the room. We're wrestling with people that are like Olympic caliber freestyle wrestlers, and it helps so much, and it's amazing. And he's been using wrestling for MMA for about 10 years now. Like he's been helping a lot of fighters out in the UFC for their fights with the wrestling. So it's great because he's adapted to wrestling very well to MMA.
Yeah, Prickett is a boss, man. Like so. Do you obviously Prickett has a great relationship with Parabellum and Rory and all those guys. Have you been up cross training with them at all yet, or no? Just because of COVID, you're kind of keeping it a close circle for now.
I've been training with Lyndon a lot. With Locke, yeah, I've been doing some striking with him. He's been coaching me through some rounds as well. So like we're still respecting like the COVID situation out here. It's just like the cross training is happening. It's just like you have your certain bubble of training partners, right? So I'm out there with like the 55ers and then like the big guys training together, and we're not mixing it up too much when it comes to like heavier weights and smaller weights. You know, it's like keep the guys separated, and you're always going with the same guys most of the time. Like
I think that's smart for injuries.
Yeah, for sure, 100% for injuries. And like, you know, if for COVID, if someone walks in like from the government and be like, oh, you guys aren't respecting, well, like, look, these guys have been training together for X amount of months, and like, you know,
yeah,
we can't really do much. Like we're in our bubble of people we train together. So.
Yeah, if you're limited in contact, then
and also like we're all roommates basically. We're always at the house together. Like Prickett, AJ, and like we're always hanging out together. So
nice. Is wrestling like the majority of your camp this go? Is that really what you're focusing on? It sounds like you guys are going hard into it right now.
We wrestle hard. I think twice a week. Then we go technical twice a week as well. it's not like the main aspect of my camp, but like I keep it like very well rounded as well. But it's something I have to work on more than the striking and the
Okay.
jits right now. So I'm doing a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
Right.
wrestling hard ass sport, man.
Yeah.
The days of jujitsu, you can kind of sit there. I'm always amazed, like I don't know about you, John. This is how I feel when I feel a guy like Kalidas, who's a guy who's smaller. He's fought at 125 pounds. At the highest level, and we trained together the other day, and Kalidas is just trying to kind of get himself back in shape to compete again soon. And here's a guy who's 140 pounds or 145 pounds, and I'm 180 pounds, and literally a guy going like that at maybe he was going 70%, I don't know, 75, 80%, doing wall work and that kind of stuff. How quick like that you can't get away from that high level pressure. You can't get away from it when someone's cardio, and his cardio is not even great, but like the difference when like of a high level athlete versus like a hobbyist is quite incredible, man. The feeling of it, like the pressure in, like you say, wrestling, and you just can't beat practice. I don't know
No,
what.
for sure, 100%. Like the wrestling aspect, the grind is totally different. Like I come from a jiu-jitsu based background, and like I've always been like a hard worker, but like jiu-jitsu guys don't like the way I work. Not most of the time, but like some, like I'll have
Yeah,
sometimes like, oh, you go too hard, you go too hard. But like I don't get that with wrestling dudes because they're used to that grind and they're not doing that for fun. Like wrestling isn't a hobby. Wrestling is a like people that want to be athletes, people that want to make
Yeah.
it something.
It's hard to do takedowns light.
Yeah, that's it. And basically, the wrestlers like allow us to do grappling with them. Like they'll be like, oh, if we hit the ground, like let's keep going. Like do just like hit us. Like we don't care. Just like the wrestlers get better at MMA, because like some of them want to transition eventually, and we get to work our jits on people that like are very good at wrestling. So it's very good.
That is very good. Are you doing much stand-up sparring? Are you doing a lot of that? Did you find like having a break, coming back, you kind of had to get your timing back, or?
Yeah, twice a week we got two little gloves sparring sessions. Like last week, I like it's crazy like the good 155ers we have in the room. Like my rounds on Wednesday were Romero, Xavier Nash, and Scott Hudson. So like that's like my 3 rounds going in, like 3 rounds, like 3 5 rounds, 3 5 minute rounds at a fight pace, fucking fighting like the best dudes in Canada basically, and getting ready for this fight. Like I feel like the fight's gonna be nothing compared like just to the training with these guys, because the room with the 55ers is like you'll have Adam Senza, you'll have Scott Hudson, you'll have Romero, you'll have me, Xavier Nash. Like just right there, like 5 of the best 55ers in like the Ontario's. I'll say Quebec for me, but like Ontario Quebec region right there.
yeah,
It's a crazy room.
for sure. Yeah,
That is good. That's got to make you super confident going into competition.
Oh yeah, especially when those rounds are going well. Like when I get good rounds in against like Scott, who's a seasoned dude, like he's on the verge of making it to the UFC. He was on the short list when I think when Kyle Preplik got signed. Like he just got like passed over by him, and he's been around for a while. So when I'm getting good rounds in with him, and I'm able to do the game plan I want going into this fight against him, like it's just gonna be amazing in the fight. I'm gonna feel so good, and it should be way better than last performance.
nice, man. How do you beat that, right? Like confidence, and that's the whole idea as a fighter. You want to keep growing and growing and growing, and that's the idea. If you can surround yourself with those people in a room who are going to push you and make you better in training, therefore making your fight better, therefore winning, pushing your career further. It's amazing how many fighters don't want to do that. They don't want to go to those tough rooms, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah, you need that. You need that tough room. Like these are all except Romero because we're managed like by the same dude. But like these are all dudes I was looking at like after the DeFreitas fight. I'm like, okay, who can I fight next? Where like it's going to be a good fight. And I was looking at Xavier and I was looking at Scott before going out the Niagara Top team. Like these are guys I'm in a room with now, and I'm fine with not fighting because these guys are going to help me get so much better. Like they're amazing. They're great fighters. They're so good, and like I feel like having like if you're the best in the room all the time, you're not in the right room. That's the mentality that I think is very important to have.
Yeah, good point, man. That's it. Like people, John, he's a coach. We've all been training for a long time, and if you get complacent in training, and like you say, if you're sitting there, finishing guys all the time, or there's no challenge, then you might as well hang it up, right? Like you're young, you're hungry, you're doing all the right things, man. And being in a room like that and that's just a small amount too, who you named, of the people.
Yeah, it's a small amount. Yeah,
small amount, right? And I'm amazed at that because, like John, you've been around this a long time too, and it's interesting how people, like, the sport now is more like cross training. People are starting to cross train more and help one another get to that higher level, whereas opposed to those gyms before, be like, fuck that, no, you don't walk in that gym. And it's interesting, right? People are cross training a little bit more to make the overall product better. And you see a couple amateurs, like some amateurs are like 1-1, and they fight and they look like pros. Like the level of the sport has come along a long way.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like we have those amateurs in the gym that are like, like 2-1, 3-1, 2-2, and like they feel like pros. Like you go with them and they're like, damn. Like I look back to when I was an amateur and I wasn't that good. Like there's 3 dudes from MTT fighting tonight at Montreal Fight League, and like one of them's 1-0, the other one's 4-1, and the other is his first amateur fight. And all of them like are better than what I was as an amateur. Like they're just amazing, and I think that comes from like just that cross training aspect and having the right guys around you.
Yeah,
that's it too. Like building talent within the gyms for those guys to come up like that. Like they had you guys that had already done it, and you were already seasoned veterans and very skilled fighters. So immediately starting your training out with a group of experienced guys is just gonna, like, the level keeps jumping. I noticed the same thing because when I was fighting amateur, it's not even close to the same thing. The amount of guys we had on our first card that were 0-0 amateurs and came out and just looked awesome. That didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. I remember my first 3 fights, I didn't even know how to strike. Like I didn't know how to throw anything. I was just going by feel and grappling people and taking them down. And like I still do that, but like I actually know how to strike now. Like if I can't take someone down, like I'll know what to do on the feet. Like before, like if I wasn't taking the guy down, I would have been in a world of trouble.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember if you were a blue belt, you could pretty much annihilate half the guys in your division. Just to, you knew if you took them down, it was going to be night. The end of the night or whatever. But as a blue belt, and now most of the guys entering amateur, blue, purple, brown belt, it's got a black belt and something else, or it's ridiculous how much higher the level is now.
Dangerous athletes,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
So what's the big? We won't. I know we got just a couple minutes left here, Zach. Coming into this fight, I don't want to think too far in the future. Obviously, we're going to get through this fight here. But what's the plan going into this fight and the whole week leading up to it? I guess down in Miami, are you going to do anything different or just keep the Lyndon probably will go with you, I assume.
So it's actually in Alabama. So it's in
Alabama.
Yeah. I'm going down with Chris Prickett and Kevin Bastien. Kevin helps me cut weight, and he also knows me from like 8 years. Like we've been training together for 8 years, so like he knows my style. And Chris is also some guy I'm very comfortable with. Like in such short amount of time, like we've been training together for 2 months, and like I feel so comfortable with him. The thing is, like I have to pay for like some amount for my corner, so like I can't have 3 guys out there. So I only got 2, and Isaac was supposed to fight, so I was supposed to have like Patrick Marcial out there as well, but his dude pulled out, so I'm just sticking with 2 corners. I'm eventually gonna have Lyndon if I can. Like I think Lyndon is so good, like has a great mind for the sport. But just going out there with these 2 guys, flying out on the Wednesday, making weight, fighting at 160, so that won't be too hard. Like I'm a water cut away already. Nice. And just go out there, show my skills, beat up Yemi, and like then on to the next. Like the whole plan is to be very dominant, like there's going to be eyes on this fight. There's not a lot of fights going on right now, so every chance you get to fight, you have to display an amazing performance because someone's going to see it right now. Like people are going to see the fights right now. There's not much going on, so people are going to be watching. So it's important to know that, and it's important to perform under pressure. And like luckily for me, I'm very good under pressure, so it should be a very good time.
That's a really good point, man. It's a great chance to really do something amazing with a lot of eyes on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Smart. That's the thing, man.
Very smart.
Full, like, you know, that I was going to say a full-fledged athlete, but that fully rounded athlete and understanding the business behind it. And okay, this is my time to shine. The pressure's on me. Fuck it, bring it. I love the pressure. Let's go. You know, and that's those athletes that the UFC or those higher level promotions want. That's what they want, right? And man, keep doing it. Like, we're big fans here on the East Coast. Obviously, we spoke to you, Zach, about getting you out here to compete with us. And I don't know if that's going to happen now, but we wish you all the best, man. And we're the biggest fans of you out here on the East Coast. And nothing but love for you guys in Dodge Sports and Prickett and all the Jazz and AJ and everybody up there. You guys do a great job representing Canadian MMA in a, you know, like obviously athletic way, but also in a classy way too. So keep it up, keep doing what you're doing. And one final question: any advice for, you know, again, there's a lot of athletes, like you said, 2% of fighters only fighting right now. How can athletes kind of stand out a little bit? You know, hard work is one thing, but how can they stand out to get to the level that they should be and maybe be represented by Dodge Sports? Or
I think in this day and age, like things that'll stand out is like performance for sure. Like you have to perform, like performance is number one. Like you can never overlook performance, how you fight, how good you fight, and what your record is. Like record means something, you know. Like as an amateur, okay, like just fight the best dudes, get as good as you can. But as a pro, like you gotta take good fights. Then something else that is very important is your social media. If your social media looks disgusting, it's going to be hard for management to get on board with you. Like you got to have some sort of like, okay, like I know how to make a post look decent and make my social media look like attractive to sponsors, because there's not many dudes in the UFC that social media looks horrible or that doesn't have social media. Like social media is what will lead to ticket sales, what's going to lead to pay-per-view sales. Like Sean O'Malley is a great star because he has great social media that's good with his performance, and he performs very well. But like, if he would just perform well and not have good social media, he wouldn't be known as much as he is. So like, social media, performing, like, and just be yourself. Like, don't go out there trying to mimic all the other dudes. Like, we already have those other dudes. We have Conor, we have Sean O'Malley, we have George St. Pierre, we have Michael Bisping. Just go out there, be yourself. Be yourself on social media. Be yourself in the cage, and good things will happen.
Man, you're a smart guy. You got it, man. Everything you said right there is exactly. I couldn't, as a promoter here with John or promoters, we couldn't say that more ourselves. You know, be classy. As weird as it, like you would never see a pro athlete, you know. And when you do see someone like Mike Perry do something stupid, you know, it's looked after. You know, it's like, okay, we can't be doing that. You can't be representing our brand that way. We want to, you know, fighting already has a shitty name. So if you want people to respect the sport we're in, keep it classy, motivate people, and do the right things, man. And you're a brilliant guy. You're doing fantastic things, and I know we're super excited to watch you compete last night. And going back to what you compete in the future. Sorry, going back to what you just said. You messaged us again to get on the podcast. Like you're out there hustling. You know, you and Dodge, you're working together. It's like, hey, man, I want some exposure. You know, whether it's like on the East Coast or not, you understand the whole thing. Like if I can get fans in every part of this now, it's going to be bigger in the future, man. So you're doing the right things. You're doing great things, and keep it up, man. You're representing the country well. So we got lots of love for you out here. And any final words for him, John?
No, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And I thought it was funny, Derek. I mean, obviously we would have loved to have you compete on the East Coast, but we're very happy to, you know, for that not to happen. It's like, do your thing, man. Get there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Enjoy your lots of love to Kevin Bastian for us. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, sure thing. See you guys
later on. Awesome. Another great episode, John. Done here, sitting beside one another in our secret location, holding hands during this podcast. Is that awkward enough for you?
No, it's perfect.
Tell me more.
I quite enjoyed being able to hold hands the whole time.
All right. All right. That's
Awesome, man.
unfortunately, Taz, I got a little bit busy with training here, so he won't be able to join us today. So we'll reschedule that. No big deal. He's got a big fight coming up here on the Kumite 6 for Third Coast Grappling, so that's a little bit more important than talking to us and the camp. And so yeah, we'll get him back on, and yeah, we're going to go out and start planning this event here that we got on October 24th, live on pay-per-view. Make sure you check it out. Fighters are being dropped now, so yeah, we're going to go plan out the venue here, and yeah, make sure you damn well order that pay-per-view and order some apparel. FightLeagueAtlantic.com.
Hell yes.